Welcome to MogulCast, where we uncover the stories behind the world's greatest business empires. Let's get into today's story. June 12, 2022. Celsius Network freezes $12 billion in customer funds. No withdrawals. No explanations. Just silence. 2 weeks later, the company files for bankruptcy, revealing a $1.2 billion hole in its balance sheet. By the time regulators finish digging, they uncover something worse. $2 billion wasn't just lost, it was stolen. This is the full story. And it is worse than you think. Alex Mashinsky wasn't a Wall Street insider. He was a serial entrepreneur with a knack for reinvention. Born in Ukraine, raised in Israel, he moved to the US in the 1990s and built a career in telecom, selling his first company for $120 million. But his real obsession? Disrupting banks. Banks are the enemy, he declared in 2018. That's when he launched Celsius Network, positioning himself as the Robin Hood of crypto, taking on greedy institutions and sharing profits with the people. We will come back to one specific decision. It is the key to everything. Mashinsky's pitch was simple: deposit your crypto with Celsius, earn up to 18% interest, far more than any bank. By 2021, Celsius had over 1.7 million users and $20 billion in assets. The media called him a visionary. Customers called him a savior. But behind the scenes, Celsius was operating like a Ponzi scheme. New deposits were used to pay old investors, while Mashinsky and his inner circle lived like kings: private jets, luxury real estate, and a $50 million penthouse in Manhattan. The problem? The math never added up. Celsius's growth was explosive. In just 3 years, it went from zero to $20 billion in assets under management. Mashinsky's strategy? Aggressive marketing, celebrity endorsements, and a cult-like following. He hosted weekly Ask Mashinsky Anything live streams, where he mocked skeptics and reassured users their money was safe. "We're not a bank," he said. "We're better." But the truth was far darker. Celsius was lending customer funds to risky hedge funds, gambling on volatile crypto markets, and hiding losses with complex financial tricks. Not everyone was celebrating. By early 2022, cracks were starting to show. Celsius's largest borrower, Three Arrows Capital, was collapsing. The crypto market was crashing. And Mashinsky was doubling down, encouraging users to HODL, hold on for dear life, while secretly selling his own holdings. Then, on May 13, 2022, a leaked financial report revealed Celsius was insolvent. The company scrambled to cover its losses, but it was too late. The bank run had begun. Celsius's business model was built on a lie: that it could consistently pay 18% yields in a market where most assets returned 5% or less. The secret? Celsius was lending customer funds to high-risk borrowers, often at even higher rates, and pocketing the difference. But here is what the media completely got wrong about this: Celsius wasn't just reckless, it was fraudulent. Internal documents later revealed the company was misrepresenting its financial health, using new deposits to cover old losses, and lying to regulators about its reserves. The turning point came on June 12, 2022. Celsius announced it was pausing all withdrawals, citing extreme market conditions. Panic spread. Users flooded social media with accusations of fraud. Regulators, who had ignored warnings for years, finally took notice. Within days, Celsius's lawyers admitted the company was insolvent. The $20 billion empire was gone. But the worst was yet to come. The bankruptcy filing revealed the full extent of the fraud. Celsius had lent billions to risky ventures, including $1 billion to its own affiliated hedge fund. It had also used customer funds to prop up the price of its own token, CL, creating a false sense of stability. When the market crashed, the house of cards collapsed. But the most damning evidence? Internal messages showed Mashinsky and his team knew the company was insolvent months before the freeze. They had been lying to customers, and regulators, the whole time. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a web of deceit. Celsius had falsified financial statements, misled auditors, and even created fake accounts to inflate its user numbers. The company's collapse wasn't just a market failure, it was a calculated fraud. By the time regulators finished their report, they estimated that $2 billion in customer funds had been stolen or misappropriated. And if you have made it this far, you already understand something most analysts completely missed: Celsius wasn't a victim of the crypto crash. It was the cause. The fallout was immediate. Dozens of lawsuits were filed. Regulators in multiple states launched investigations. And in July 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice charged Mashinsky with securities fraud, wire fraud, and market manipulation. The case sent shockwaves through the crypto industry, exposing the lack of oversight and the dangers of unregulated lending platforms. But for the 1.7 million Celsius users who lost their savings, justice was cold comfort. Many would never see their money again. Celsius's collapse wasn't just a financial disaster, it was a cultural one. The company had marketed itself as a revolutionary force for good, a way for ordinary people to take control of their finances. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about greed, deception, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. The scandal also exposed the fragility of the crypto industry, where a single bad actor could wipe out billions in value overnight. Today, the name Celsius is synonymous with fraud. The Celsius scandal had lasting consequences. Regulators tightened oversight of crypto lending platforms, forcing many to shut down or restructure. The SEC launched a crackdown on unregistered securities, targeting companies that promised high yields without proper disclosures. And for the crypto industry, the collapse became a turning point, a moment when the public's trust in digital assets hit an all-time low. Remember that decision we mentioned at the start? Here is what it actually cost: $2 billion, 1.7 million victims, and the reputation of an entire industry. By the numbers, $20 billion in assets under management at its peak. 1.7 million users left in the dark. $2 billion stolen or misappropriated. 25 criminal charges against Mashinsky. 18%, the yield that lured in victims. 90 days, the time it took to collapse. And $0, the amount most customers recovered. The Celsius network fraud wasn't just a failure of oversight. It was a failure of trust. And the ripple effects are still being felt today. The most surprising lesson from the Celsius collapse? It wasn't just about crypto. It was about human nature. Mashinsky didn't just exploit a financial system, he exploited people's desire for easy money. The promise of 18% yields was too good to be true, but millions believed it anyway. And that's the real tragedy: Celsius didn't just steal money. It stole trust. The question now is whether the crypto industry can ever recover it. The Celsius network scandal is a story of ambition, deception, and the dangers of unchecked power. It's a reminder that in the world of finance, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And it's a warning for the future: without proper oversight, history will repeat itself. If you want to understand how this pattern repeats across every major business collapse, the next video covers a story with disturbing parallels. That one is next. That's the story for today on MogulCast. If you found this valuable, subscribe and hit the bell. A new Empire story drops every single weekday. See you tomorrow.